Hi there, it's Renee here, and you're watching Crafting Exodus. In our last episode, we did a quick recap of how God's people, the Israelites, had gone from the Garden of Eden to Egypt, with our recap ending with Joseph and his family moving to Egypt. Today we jump into the first 2 chapters of Exodus. Now Joseph and his family had been in Egypt for 400 years and had grown into a huge number of descendants. God was clearly continuing to fulfill his promise to Abraham. But as the number of Israelites continued to grow, the Egyptians became worried about their power and started to see them as a threat. They weren't treated very well by the Egyptians, and eventually the order came from the Pharaoh that every Israelite baby boy was to be thrown into the Nile. This sounds really scary, and it was during this time that a particular Israelite baby boy was born. Now his mother did all she could to protect him from being found by the Egyptians. For 3 months she hid him, but eventually it became too hard, and so to protect him, she put the baby in a basket and placed him in the Nile River. His older sister Miriam was watching from the reeds and followed from a distance as her brother floated down the river. What was going to happen to her baby brother? She had no idea. But God had a plan. And the plan involved the Pharaoh's Egyptian daughter. One day, while bathing in the river Nile, she saw the basket in the reeds. She felt sorry for the baby and decided she would take care of him. Miriam came out of the reeds and said, "Shall I go and get one of the Israelite women to nurse the baby for you?" Pharaoh's daughter agreed, and she offered to pay for Miriam's mother to care for the baby. When he grew older, he was taken back to the Pharaoh's daughter, and she named him Moses, which means I drew him out of water. Moses lived in the palace for many, many years. God's people continued to suffer, but something was about to change all of it. In Exodus chapter 2, after seeing an Egyptian man hurting an Israelite, Moses killed the Egyptian man. Moses was so angry to see how God's people were being treated. He had to hide the Egyptian in the sand. However, when Pharaoh heard, he became angry and tried to kill Moses. So Moses had to flee Egypt. He ran to Midian, where he started a family and set up his life there in a new place. God's people were still suffering. Had God heard them? Was God going to save them? What about Moses? We're going to get into that in the next episode. You've been watching Crafting Exodus. I'll see you next week.